Hello everybody, this is KelsiThePyrofly here, and you may have noticed that I am not in a normal Minecraft biome. I am in a modded biome because today I am doing my first ever Minecraft mod showcase. So we're going to see how this goes, and if you guys are watching this, be sure to let me know if you like it or not, and if you want to see more like it, because if you guys like these, there are tons of new mods coming out all the time that I would love to check out. And honestly, I hope you like it because I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So what I'm going to try to do with these, if I do continue this series of mod showcases, is I'm going to try to review mods that nobody else has ever even given a second thought to. Just ones that I think really need some love and attention, and that are just kind of cool, kind of new, just interesting Minecraft mods. And that is what I'm doing today. And today's mod, I believe, is called... Oh great, I forgot it. I completely forgot. I believe it is called like Slimy Adventure Reborn or something like that. And as you can see, there are some slimy looking blocks around here. This is actually the cool new biome that this map adds. It's got these really awesome looking trees, which I believe are called bluewood trees. And it also added a couple new mobs. There is a type of slime right over there. And they also added a dimension, ores, tools. There's just lots of cool stuff, and I'm going to go over it now. I believe what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the ores right here. This is what they have so far. They've added, looks like 7 ores, and these are what they look like. As you can see, they have a really nice variety of colors, so very visually pleasing, which I appreciate. These are the ores, and these are the blocks, and in the chests are some of the different items you can make with some of these things. Now, I don't precisely know where you can find these ores. I wasn't able to find information on the exact levels they spawn at, but what I do know is this one and this one I see all over on the surface, and I assume in these guys here you might have to go lower for them. But anyway, I am going to move on to some of our items. This is the hardened ruby. Its gem looks like this. And then what we have in here is an armor set, some tools, and also a ruby furnace. Now this mod is a work in progress, so the ruby furnace is not quite functional at this time. It's a work in progress block. As you can see, it kind of glitches out and does weird things. It does not really act as a furnace yet, so this is a work in progress, but I believe it'll be pretty cool once it is implemented, and it might have some nice perks compared to your ordinary furnace. And also here are the tools. As you can see, they're fairly overpowered. The sword does 24 attack damage, so this stuff is pretty beastly. And then here is the armor. For some reason, the textures on the armor don't work. I'm not sure if that is because of me or because of the mod just not being quite perfect yet. But you can still see this on my body, just the item texture doesn't work. But as you can see, these things give you a ton of armor. They give you 15 armor each. And just for comparison, I put a diamond chestplate in here. That only gives you 8 armor. So all of this stuff is like super, super beefy. It's way better than diamond. And I actually have myself in survival mode just so we can see how much armor this actually gives me. If I put on just the helmet, it literally fills my armor up almost, I'd say, about what a whole set of iron does. And I could put on all of these, and this is what they look like. It's just kind of a nice red set. So it's pretty cool, and this doesn't actually do anything special other than giving you a ton of armor, but I think a couple of the other sets will actually give you some special buffs and stuff too, which is pretty cool. So I'll just take this off and put it back. I don't think I will be using this anymore, but I'm going to hold on to the tools because we will test them out and see how well they do their tool jobs later. This right here is copper ore, this is platinum, this is tin, and this is titanium. They are metals. They don't really have any special items implemented yet. They don't have armor or tool sets or any of that. These are kind of work in progress items as well. As the mod develops, they will add in some cool functions for these different metals. But for now, they are pretty plain. They're just kind of fun to build with and mine, just spice up your mining experience. And one thing that I would like to show you guys is that they're actually quite blast resistant. So what I did over here somewhere, I always forget which way it is. Yeah, I tested the blast resistance of all of the blocks. So here is just a little comparison I set up. I actually tested every single one separately, but just for comparison, there are 4 holes here. This is what happens if you light off a piece of TNT just in the middle of nowhere. It makes a fairly large hole. If I surround that TNT with a cube of dirt, it makes a slightly smaller hole. Now, if I surround it with any of these 3 special blocks added, it will completely destroy the blocks, but it will not destroy any of the surrounding blocks. So basically, these things are fairly blast resistant. This is pretty much the same as with a diamond block or something. If you blow up TNT right next to it, the block will be destroyed, but none of the surrounding blocks will. And then the cool thing about the metals is basically if I made a cube like this out of these guys, and I light off a piece of TNT right in the middle, it will not destroy anything. These guys here are, I would say, almost completely, if not completely blast resistant. So that could definitely be a useful application of these, is if you want to make a bunker or something and you think obsidian is too boring looking or whatever, these are kind of fun, and also they just have nice textures. I especially like the titanium one. It's just got this really nice dark blue color to it. So these could definitely be fun to build with, and like I said, as the mod progresses, there will probably be other cool uses for those. So moving on from that, and you're going to have to excuse the lag. Sometimes when my computer does mods, it gets a little bit laggy, but I think we'll be okay with that. Next up is this green one, which I believe is called Hiddenite. Yeah, it is. And this stuff is like the beefiest. Well, it's between these two. These two here are both super beefy, super useful, but what we have here are the tools again. And the ruby sword did 24 attack damage, the Hiddenite sword does 34, and then these guys do some more too. It's kind of interesting that they're actually not, the tools aren't in the normal order of damage. For all of the sets, the sword does the most, but the normal order is then the axe does second most, pickaxe third, shovel fourth, and hoe last. But on here, the pickaxe and the shovel actually do more damage than the axe, so it's kind of funny how they got that set up. But I am also going to hold on to these because I will be testing them a little bit later on. And here's the armor again. Again, I stuck this diamond chestplate in here for comparison. It has 8 armor and 2 toughness. These guys all have 4 toughness and 20 armor. So basically, this armor is so good that if I take just one piece, it's basically going to give me as much protection as full diamond. Or at least that's what I think. But let's not take my word for it. I'm going to go into game mode 0 and we are going to test this. If I put on just these leggings, it instantly fills up my armor bar. So basically, I've got like 4 times as much protection as diamond just from wearing this. And as you can see, this is what it looks like. It's just green, but it's definitely useful. And as you can see, every piece of armor gave me a permanent buff. And I believe each is just associated with one of the armor pieces. If I put on the boots, I get speed. The leggings give strength, the helmet gives regen, and the chest gives fire resistance. So that could definitely be pretty useful. And I am going to go ahead and put this back for now. I actually am going to do a little bit of fighting later on, so I will go ahead and pick the best armor set for that later. But also, I'd just like to point out there is this Hiddenite stone brick right here. The recipe for it is slimy stone, which is made by surrounding a slime ball with any sort of stone block, apparently. So this right here, it actually doesn't really have anything to do with Hiddenite ore, but I figured it goes with the name, so I'd just shove it in there to go over it. And then this right here is super cool as well. This is the, what are you called? What are you called? I don't, why don't I remember this? This is upsetting. It is the Frosty Crystal. The Frosty Crystal ore. I believe this is a Frosty Crystal gem. Let me just make sure I've got this right. It probably is. Or Frosty Crystal shard, something like that. This is the ore here. And the cool thing about this ore is it actually has a light level. So if you are mining or caving or just underground for any reason, you will, or probably above ground too, you're just going to notice this stuff because it lights up like crazy. I'm pretty sure this has the same brightness as a torch, so you really can't miss this stuff. I believe I have seen this quite frequently actually above ground as well, although it might generate underground too. And again, here's a diamond chestplate for comparison. This stuff only gives you 10 armor and 2 toughness, so I don't think this is quite as good as the Hiddenite, but I'm pretty certain that this stuff is a whole lot easier to come by. And it looks like this has given me some buffs as well. So this stuff also gives you buffs. It looks like they're actually kind of similar strength to the other ones as well, but they're a little different. I think these are different stuff than we got before. The boots give regen, the helmet gives resistance, the leggings give speed, and the armor gives strength. So basically, if you wear this set versus the other set, you've got almost the same buffs, except you have resistance instead of fire resistance. And the parts of armor that actually give them to you are a little mixed around. But this doesn't provide as much armor protection as Hidden Knight, but still this stuff is seriously, like, overpowered and awesome. And this stuff here doesn't actually have a tool set. I think these are the only 2 tool sets that are actually added. But it does have really epic armor. And then in this chest is just one other thing I want to talk about, which, I don't want to put those in there, which is basically steel. It's an item that was added. It doesn't actually have an ore, so what you do is you actually take iron and you smelt it in a furnace, and that will give some steel. So just to demonstrate, I'm just going to go ahead and do this for you guys. As you can see now, if you shove an iron ingot into the furnace, it will actually do something, and this is going to turn into some steel in just a moment. I don't think we need to watch that, and this is what they are right now. They have to make this, the things you can make with it are an igniter and a quality igniter, which is basically just like flint and steel, except with steel instead of iron. And I'm not really sure what the difference between these is. These are both work in progress items, I think, because they don't seem to be actually lighting any fires. They're making the sound, but they don't. This one actually makes the lighting sound. This one doesn't do anything. Let me just quickly give myself some flint and steel, just like as a control here. Yes, flint and steel, just to show you that this one actually will light a fire, whereas this one currently will not. So these are some more work in progress items, but I'm interested to see what the mod creator ends up doing with these. And also, we have a steel block and steel ingots. So right now, the only real application of this, other than making these guys, is to make blocks, which again look pretty cool and have a high blast resistance. But in the future, I imagine there will be I don't even know where I was going with that. There will be many other interesting uses, and as you can see, we have turned that iron into steel. And I believe iron actually does not have that amazing blast resistance, so we have actually improved the iron. So that's pretty cool. And I believe we're pretty much done with this section right here. I am going to put back this armor and take the Hidden Knight stuff again for later because it's clearly superior. But I think wait a second, the one thing I've had to do is show you what this looks like. I have to say, I think this is actually the coolest looking of all of the armors. This is probably my favorite. It's got really nice colors. And it actually has like the dark purplish blue against the light greenish blue. So it just adds a lot of kind of cool color contrast. So that's kind of fun. But it's not as beefy as the other armors. I'm going to grab this stuff because it is absolutely over 9,000 amazing. And the next thing I figure we should go over is just kind of some other blocks here that aren't really covered anywhere else. One of them is this one we're standing on, which is Slimy Grass. And I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that this doesn't actually generate anywhere yet, and there's no crafting recipe for it, so I'm pretty sure this stuff is creative mode only. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that this is currently creative mode access only, but in the future, it will probably generate in a biome or something like that. This biome down here, I've checked, it just has regular grass. And we also have added one new flower. This is the Frosty Rose. And let me get back in creative mode so I can grab this. But when you hold it in your hand, it's actually like kind of see-through. It's a little bit transparent, so it's kind of like ghostly. Another important thing is you actually cannot plant this on the slimy grass. The slimy grass will not grow flowers, so if you want to plant these, you're going to have to plant them on regular dirt, and you will find them generating throughout your world just like a normal flower. Now what we've got over here is the wood and leaves that go with these amazing trees that generate in this biome. I absolutely love the little red speckles in these leaves, and I just think they're absolutely beautiful. But this is the blue wood log, and these are the blue wood leaves. Now these blue wood leaves actually do have a light level as well. They will glow in the dark. So that's probably why, even though it's night out, it looks pretty bright down here. And another thing about this wood is that it's actually kind of strange as far as crafting goes. So if I grab this, and then I go into game mode 0, and craft this, what's going to happen is if I put this in this spot or in the center spot of the larger crafting grid, it will give me the slime infused planks. If I put it in any other slot, it will just give you oak wood planks. So I don't know if this is a bug or if this is intentional, but it is pretty interesting that this wood can actually at this point give you 2 different types of planks. So that's kind of just a fun fact about it. And here are our slime infused planks, which again you get from placing this wood in the center of the crafting table. And then we also have this slimy stone, which glows and interestingly enough actually has gravity as well. So if I grab a piece of this and like place it like this, it actually will fall just like sand. And as you saw before, you can craft this by surrounding a slime ball with some form of stone block, but it does not currently generate naturally in the world. Although if a new biome is added, they might use this for something. And there's also some slimy dirt, which I don't think generates in the world. So this is creative mode only too. Nothing real special about it. It's just a slightly darker dirt. And I'm pretty sure you can't plant a flower on it, but in the future, it might do something. And finally, we have some sink sand. Like regular sand, this stuff is affected by gravity, but I'm not really noticing any special sinking effects to it right now. And I don't think it generates in the world, so this is probably a work in progress as well. But once they get this thing working, and if it actually sinks you, this stuff could be really fun and really annoying. So this mod definitely has some potential, and as you can see, these are some pretty nice looking blocks. So now that the blocks are done, let's look at these chests over here. These are your mobs. One other set of tools, which wasn't from one of those ores, and some food. So this set right here, I think it's our weakest set. Yeah, 14 damage for the sword versus 24 and 34. So this is our weakest set, but you don't need any special ore for this. This is made just from slime balls. And as far as recipes go, all of the tools and armor in this mod, I'm pretty sure they just follow the standard Minecraft recipes. So you make a sword out of slime like you make a sword out of iron. Same with armor, same with all the other stuff. But this is the slime set. It is slightly weaker, but still pretty cool. And obviously, a mod that has slime in the name kind of has to have a slime set. If it doesn't, the mod is like false advertising. So that's pretty simple. I will hold on to these and test them out a little bit later. And also, we have some mods. So far, we have added, this mod has added 3 different mobs. Now, I'm going to go in game mode 0. I don't actually think any of these guys attack you, but just in case, I'm going to go in game mode 0 and spawn some of these. And I just quickly switch back into game mode 1 to give myself a bunch of them so we can spawn more than one. But here we go. The first one is the Slimy Adventurer, and he's just this little slime dude. At some point in the future, he might actually become like an NPC or something like that. But at the moment, he doesn't seem to be hostile. Even if I hit him in the face, he won't really attack me. And now what's interesting is when I kill this guy, he is actually spawning one of the other mobs. This is a slimy snail. And I actually didn't realize this until right now, but apparently when you kill the Slimy Adventurer, he will spawn the slimy snail, which you can kill for some experience and some slime balls as well. And the other mob is the Frosty Slime, which is this dude right here. I have checked before I spawned like a million of these, and they're not like regular slimes. They won't spawn in like a ton of sizes and stuff. They really only come in this one form. But they're kind of cool, and you can kill them as well pretty simply. And sometimes they will drop a frozen crystal for you. So when you think that you can get this frozen crystal from mining on the surface or from killing mobs, that pretty much shows you just how overpowered this mod is, because you can get pretty darn amazing armor with pretty easy to get materials. So if you install this mod, you're going to become a beast pretty fast. So that is the mobs covered. The last thing I have over here is the food. It only adds 2 food items, but both of these things are completely and just utterly overpowered. The food is amazing. This right here is escargot, which is basically a French delicacy that involves eating snails. It sounds completely nasty, but once you see how good this food is, you will realize that it is entirely worth it. And I believe at least one of these foods, if not both, has some other effects, so I'm going to take off my armor, and I'm also going to give myself some serious hunger effect really quickly. Minecraft hunger will do like hunger 100. We're talking some serious hunger here. So I'm going to let my hunger go all the way down, and then I'm going to eat this snail, and it's going to be crazy. So now I'm starving, I eat the snail, and I'm instantly back to full hunger, and I get health boost for 30 seconds. So as you can see, that snail is not messing around. And I also have a strawberry as well. And if I eat this, it will give me 4 bars of hunger, but it gives me regeneration for 30 seconds. So that's pretty good. And let me just grab those foods again because I want to check the recipes as well. I believe the strawberry does have a recipe. Yes, you can actually craft these amazing strawberries with a poppy and wheat. So you basically take your dirt common items like this and you get 8 of these really overpowered foods. So that's pretty cool. The snail, I don't believe actually has a recipe. No, it doesn't. And currently, I thought it would drop from the snails, but currently it doesn't seem to unless it's like a super rare drop. So this might actually be unobtainable in survival at the moment. But once this is implemented, this is going to be some seriously beastly food. This is like officially the best food in Minecraft because it literally took me from starving to full in about half a second. So that's pretty impressive. And so that is pretty much everything we've got here before we head to the dimension. But there is one other thing I want to do, and that is to test out the pickaxes. And the reason I'm not going to do that inside the dimension is because I don't really think there's much stone in there. So instead, I am going to teleport to somewhere I've been before, which hopefully is still in here. Yes, I'm going to teleport into here. This is a ravine, and I figure this will allow you to kind of see some of the ores that are underground. And also, I'm just going to take this really quick, and as you can see, if I were to place this, this thing glows like crazy. This thing's like a torch. So if you mine these and you don't really need to use your frosty crystals or your frozen crystals because you've already murdered a lot of frozen slimes, you could just take these, hold on to them, and actually use them as torches or lamps or something because they're really, really bright. One thing to consider, though, is if you put these into blocks, they are no longer bright. So keep that in mind. The blocks do not glow, only the ore. It's kind of an interesting thing. But as you can see in this ravine here, at about level 28, so this is fairly low, probably close to diamond level, if not at it. We can see a lot of different blocks. Here we have this hiddenite. This is like the strongest ore in the game, and it does seem to be pretty rare. You can never tell for sure when it spawns in a ravine, but it looks like this stuff might actually only occur in veins of 1. And then you've also got all sorts of other things. You've got some metals over here. I believe this is titanium. You've got frosty crystal, which I placed. I don't know if you actually find that here. You've got, looks like some platinum over here. So yeah, there's lots of ores that can spawn down here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in game mode 0 and just see how fast these pickaxes really are. I should probably clear my effects, though, before I die of starvation. There we go. So, this pickaxe here, it doesn't seem super fast. I mean, it's fairly fast, but it's not like a complete machine drill sort of pickaxe. And it's still pretty slow at mining, so not super amazing at mining, but I believe it does do a good deal more attack damage than your everyday pickaxe. So if you want your pickaxe to double as a weapon, this definitely will not disappoint you. The hardened ruby, I don't know, it seems to mine at about the same speed as this other one. So again, not super strong, but it does do as much damage as an iron sword, so that's pretty cool. And it does allow you to use the ruby stuff, and you can't really use those for armor or anything right now. So you might as well make a pickaxe, because this thing is, I would say, probably as good as diamond. Let me see if I can mine this obsidian. I actually don't know for sure if this is going to work. I should have tested this, but I didn't. So this, I don't know if this is quite as good as diamond, but I would say it's at least as good as iron. See, did I mine that? Yeah, I think I did. And I picked it up. So yeah, these tools here seem to be pretty much as good as diamond, with a little more attack damage. And then we have the slime pickaxe. Looks like it mines at about the same speed as everything else. And we will test it right now to see if it will actually mine this obsidian for us or not. I hate mining obsidian though, because it's the slowest thing ever. Honestly, even if you've got a diamond pickaxe with efficiency, it still kind of takes forever to mine obsidian. So it's just a generally annoying block to mine. I didn't test this part beforehand, so I was honestly hoping that these things would be like crazy efficient and I could mine obsidian in like a second. But I'm a little disappointed because it kind of doesn't work. So given the general overpoweredness of this mod, I would recommend to the creator in the future add some really beastly pickaxes to go along with the beastly sword and the amazing armor. That it needs to happen. But yeah, this is slow. I'm not actually sure if I'm gonna get this or not. This is like, okay, so I think, I don't know, I didn't pick it up. I couldn't quite tell if it dropped it or not, but it's possible that this is only like as good as iron, and it will not actually be able to mine a block of obsidian, but I'm guessing it'll probably be able to do everything else. And since this is the weakest one, I figure I'd better test it, so I am going to test it on this gold. Okay, so yes, it will mine gold, it'll mine pretty much anything except maybe obsidian. So these pickaxes are pretty nice, and now you have another use for your slime balls, and your hiddenite, and your ruby. So for the hiddenite one, I'm not sure. This hiddenite stuff seems pretty rare. I'm not sure I would waste it on a pickaxe. But for ruby, that you can't really make armor with, and for slime balls, I would say the pickaxe is probably pretty worth it. And I don't know for sure the durability on these, but it's probably not too bad, although I think I only used this hiddenite a couple times, and it's already getting a little low. So these might actually be, yeah, I would say this is probably fairly low durability compared to diamond. But again, I haven't like checked the code of this or anything like that to see what the actual values are for that. I would just say it might be a little bit low. So now that I've tested all the pickaxes, I am pretty much done in this area, so I'm just going to kill myself to quickly get back to the top, and we are headed into the dimension. Now currently, the portal does not seem to have a working texture, and it actually does not spawn anywhere I've seen. I didn't actually light it, so what I did is I actually took this block out of my inventory, because you can actually get this as a block. I took it out of creative, and then I just put this frame around it to make it look nicer. So that will probably be improved in the future with a proper texture and such things. But for now, I'm just going to walk into this to escape the rain, and it'll take me straight to the dimension. And I will proceed to die. On second thought, maybe I better do this in creative mode, because it seems I've set my portal up in a really bad spot. Alright, take two. It is now not raining, and I didn't die a horrible death. So this is actually what the portal looks like when it spawns. It has the whole thing filled with portal blocks. I actually tried to construct this in the overworld, but when I try to do it with these guys, it won't actually let me place more than one next to each other. They just disappear. So these blocks are kind of weirdy. I don't know what their deal is, but they're a little bit strange. But anyway, in the future, that should be resolved just fine. And in here, we have just kind of a standard dimension. I've kind of explored around here a little bit, and it seems to have several different biomes, like kind of the cold biomes of Minecraft and also the new slime biome. So I don't know if it can have other biomes as well, if it's just kind of based on cold biomes. It is kind of supposed to be a frost dimension, so I'd guess it's probably mostly cold biomes, but it does have several different vanilla biomes in here as well as the slime biome. And I don't think there's anything super special about this dimension yet. It's probably kind of a work in progress. But one kind of interesting thing about it is if you dig down, it actually has snow for the stone layer. So instead of stone, it just has snow. And then if I go into spectator mode, which I can't type right now apparently, you can see that it doesn't actually have cave systems in here, but it does generate these weird kind of underwater lakes for some reason. So I'm really curious as to what the creator is actually going to do with this dimension in the future. But for now, it's just kind of an extra place you can go, and somewhere you probably don't want to mine, because that wouldn't help you very much. I'm scared, but I'm going in game mode 0 right now. I have my beautiful armor, so I say we test out the swords. As you can see, these are pretty much going to annihilate anything you have. Even the slime sword is like double the damage of diamond, so the mobs, they better run, man. They better run, because they just don't stand a chance. That's why I feel like this is just a super overpowered mod. I hope that in the future the map creator adds some like harder, aggressive mobs and stuff, so that there's actually a reason to be this overpowered. But it's fun. I gotta say, I feel extremely powerful right now. If I take this ruby sword, these These poor zombies, they just don't stand a chance. I could probably kill something even beefier. With this, I could probably almost one-shot that Enderman, but I'm not going to do it because I don't kill Endermen. I like them too much. And so that's pretty much the swords. Nothing too special. They're just amazing. Need I say more? No, there's really nothing to say. Go away, stuff. I don't need all this stuff. Next up, I think I shall test out the shovels, because we've got basically nothing in this entire biome that is not diggable with a shovel. So yeah, we've got snow. So this is the best shovel. So you can see it digs pretty fast, but then again, most shovels do it. I would say this, I don't actually use shovels that much, but I would say that this is a pretty good shovel. And here's the ruby one. I don't know, is that slightly slower than Hiddenite? Yeah, I can't really tell. But yeah, one precaution that I'm definitely noticing about the Hiddenite tools is their durability is pretty awful. Hardened Ruby looks like it's doing pretty good. Hiddenite, just, you don't want to use it frequently because its durability is horrible. And then the Slime Ball Shovel, I think this one is a good bit slower than any of the other ones. But then again, it is made out of slime, so what do you expect? It's all like sloppy and floppy and squishy and sloppy and weird. It's not something you normally make a shovel out of, so you can't expect too much from this, and yet it somehow manages to dig dirt. So I'm going to give it quite a bit of credit on that. And I believe we have the hoes and the axes to check out. So I'm going to get the axes first and just go chop down a couple trees. Let's see how fast these puppies are. And then we will just test the hoes. Ow! You know what, Skeleton? That's just rude. Alright, you're getting it. You do not want to mess with somebody who has this sword, okay? Just don't do it. What is wrong? Why? I can't chop wood in peace. If you want to chop wood, I don't really recommend this dimension. It's kind of brutal. But anyway, I was using this. This is the best axe. It seems like it's pretty fast, not like turbo speed, unbelievably fast. It's not as fast if you were like in creative mode or something, but it's pretty impressive. And this, or actually I think that was the slime one. This is the Hiddenite one. Let's see. So the slime one was pretty fast. This one is actually pretty slow. So yeah, if I were you, I would save your Hiddenite and make armor. I would not waste it on this axe because, as you can see, it's pretty slow and it probably has horrible durability just like the other tools. And then here our Hardened Ruby axe is again pretty quick and hopefully pretty durable. And now, of course, I mean, hoes, they just don't get enough love in Minecraft, so I'm going to go ahead and test them as well. Show us all what they're made of. I imagine they all work about the same because, this is what hoes do. They hoe the ground. But I'm going to say the ruby hoe is good. Slime hoe is good. The Hiddenite hoe seems to work pretty well. Now this one, I do just want to quickly test its durability to see if it's like as horrible as some of the other ones. Yeah, it seems like this is a fairly not great durability for a hoe as well. But they all work. So no troubles with the hoes. No troubles with any of the tools really. They're all functional. I would just say though, for your Hiddenite, I probably would not waste it on any of these tools. Except maybe the sword, because the sword is pretty darn beastly. It's basically the strongest weapon in Minecraft, and if you put sharpness on this thing, it would probably be even beastlier. But these things, their durability is just not great, and they're not really better than any other, like basic diamond tool, or even any of the other tools in this mod. And from what I could see, Hiddenite was pretty hard to come by, so use it wisely. And I would say you might want to make the armor. And I believe that's more or less all we've got for the mod. And now I'm suffocating at something. I think... Oh, wait. My ruby pickaxe. It's going to save my life. I have no idea where I am. I think the portals might be a little bit bugged out because that was not supposed to happen at all. But again, guys, this is definitely a work in progress, so there should be a lot of other cool stuff coming to this soon. If you like this, go ahead and check it out for yourself. Support the mod creator a little bit in this creation and just, wait and see where this thing goes, because I'm pretty excited. It has a lot of nice, like, cool and aesthetically pleasing blocks. And I can tell that this is a pretty ambitious project. I mean, they're trying a little of everything. They've got ores, they've got blocks, they've got a furnace, they've got a dimensions. I think this mod has a lot of potential, and I will have a link below if you guys want to check it out for yourself. Again, if you enjoyed this mod showcase and would like me to do more like this, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what you thought. And also, if there's a particular mod that you would like me to look at, or any other Minecraft related thing that you'd like me to do, leave that in the comments as well, because I love having viewer suggestions and I do my best to attend to every single one of them. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.